I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can try to get your older child a bit happier about the arrival of a new baby in the house. My children are quite close in age, and whenever I've brought home a new baby, I found that the older children were a little unhappy about it. There have been fits of jealousy and tantrums. I've tended to find that the older child can be quite clingy to me, which is very tricky when you're trying to take care of a new baby. You can be nursing the baby and the older child is insisting on sitting on your lap. I think a lot of moms go through this. I found with this situation that there are two things that really can tend to work. The number one thing that I think is a good idea to do is to try to involve your older child as much as possible in taking care of the baby. Make them feel as if the baby is their baby. If you're taking care of the baby, changing the baby's diaper, ask your child to help you. If you're nursing the baby, ask your child to give you a burp cloth. Try to give them a feeling of being responsible for the baby and to make them feel as if the baby is something that's part of their life rather than something that is taking their mommy away from them. Encourage the older child to role play and pretend to be a parent. If you're nursing or bottle feeding your baby, get a small chair next to your nursing chair, perhaps a rocking chair also, in which your older child can sit with a doll and take care of their baby. Give them a burp cloth, teach them how to burp the baby, make this whole activity feel like play to them, and make the baby feel to them as if it's their baby. Another thing you can do is to find some good books for your older child about taking care of a new baby. Take your older child, put her in your lap, read to her, and talk about the process of how you both take care of your babies. The key thing here is that you're sort of enlisting the help of your older child and making your older child feel as if they're an essential part of this whole thing. You can talk to her as if you and she are a team. You are united, and together you take care of the new baby.